Hey, good morning. Welcome to another Thrifty Thursday. Today, we're going to do something from my husband. Now, back probably, I can't remember the year, maybe 8, 9 years. I know the kids were still home. Not young, but home. Holly was in high school, and they have to bid on their runs. Like, you don't just go in and they give you a run. You have to bid on it. So the bids come out every 6 months. Well, at that particular time, he was not extremely high on the totem pole because it goes by seniority and then which type of driver you are within the company. Some drivers, they can't cross over into another category, or then they're bumped back to the bottom. It's a whole big thing, and it's kind of complicated. But in the 17 years he's been there, he's worked on it pretty good now. You know, just a lot of the old timers that's been there forever are above him. And anyway, so this one bid he got stuck with over the road, gone for the whole week. So I said he went out on Sunday. He swears he went out on Monday. But I'm pretty sure. But what he did was, because he knew it was going to be so expensive to eat out every single meal for a whole entire week, we couldn't afford that. So he would go on Sundays, and I'm going to tell you, bless that man's heart, he never one time, and I had my health back then. I was active. I mean, the whole nine. There was nothing wrong with me back then. I easily could have done it. But he never one time asked me to fix his food. He would get what he wanted, and Sunday he would spend, and he got it down to a science. I'm going to tell you what, it just took him a couple hours, and he would have his all breakfasts, lunches, and suppers, and all his snacks, even his tea he made and put in water bottles. Everything he needed for the entire week, he had done in a matter of 2 to 3 hours. I mean, done, packed, ready to go. But he had got a cooler that you plug into the cigarette lighter that worked like a refrigerator, so it kept everything perfect all week long. Now, some, depending on what terminal he went to, he was a system driver, which means he went terminal to terminal. He didn't go to anybody except just terminal to terminal. And so some terminals have bunkhouses, and those, he don't like those. They have like a common area where you can cook and eat and watch TV, and then the bedrooms are just little, enough to walk in and walk out. He says, there's a bed in there and like a little side table you can put your phone or alarm clock or whatever, and that's it. But he don't like them because the people, he said, the walls are thin, and so whoever's out there watching TV and out there talking and carrying on, and he just wants to sleep, get it done, and get back on the road. He don't care about going in there watching TV. He don't care about socializing. He didn't do none of that. He just go in, he'd eat his meal, go to bed, and get up and do it again. So anyway, he came up with all kind of stuff. Listen, he cooked good. He did not eat sandwiches. I'm gonna tell you that. He did not eat sandwiches unless he wanted sandwiches. He made the goods. So this was a casserole, a breakfast casserole he made, and I don't know if he found it. I'm assuming he found it on the internet, because he loves looking at recipes, and he loves the Food Network, and he's a good cook too. He just doesn't have time to do it. Now, this casserole, because for lack of a better word, has always been in my cookbook as David's breakfast casserole, because that's the only way I knew how to describe it, because it was his and that's what it was. So today we are making David's breakfast casserole, and it is based with hash browns. So you may have made it, you may have not, but the reason I like it is because, well, breakfast is so versatile. You can have it for supper, you can prep it, and this one I know that it preps because he would take it, separate it out and take it all week long. And he bought those back before it was cool. He bought those containers And we bought them for him to throw away. He didn't bring them back home. The black meal prepping containers that everybody uses now, we bought them off of this restaurant website, because we wouldn't, Amazon wasn't like on our radar. So we would buy like a case of, seemed like it was 100. It was minimum 100. And he would take them and just throw them away, because he was out on the road. He was not going to bother, trying to get it washed and in a motel room, trying to wash up in that little sink or nothing like that. So he just bought them to be disposable. But he would run all over the West Coast, like North Carolina, obviously, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. I think he hit some Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Pennsylvania. I think he hit some Ohio. So for a year, he went all over the place. Hated it. He just hated it. So when he finally got off of that run, he got back home to where he's home, well, most of the time he's home every night. Sometimes he'll get a run that takes him out, stay in a motel a day or two. Sometimes he's had to go work at other terminals for him and he'd be gone. So it's something different, but the bid he's on now, he runs to somewheres in Pennsylvania. It's like a meet point. He meets up somewheres in Pennsylvania. So when he went on the road and gone a week at a time, and I'm home doing everything at home by myself, when he finally come off the road and got back home to being home every day, y'all, man, it was an adjustment. It was a major adjustment, because I had to give up some control of things that I was used to controlling. And boy, that's a tough one. So anyway, long story on that one. We're going to head up and make David's breakfast casserole. And I plan on prepping it for my breakfast next week. I already plan on it. And you can make it so many different ways. You can just top it with so many different ways. So that's all I was going to say about that. So let's just head on over and cook. I got my pan preheated. We're going to start with David's breakfast casserole. Just a little bit of avocado oil in there, and y'all know I don't count it when I do that. Now this is 16 ounces of hash browns that I microwaved for a minute, only because I'm impatient and I do not like to stand here and cook frozen hash browns. I'm gonna burn these. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Just go ahead and look for it. Now see, that does not look like enough to me to cover the bottom. That's his recipe. I'm going with it. Then about an onion's worth of onion. And we're going to season our eggs, but let's go ahead and season the potatoes too. This is my house seasoning. I have finally learned, and I put a permanent recipe in my description box. So anytime you want the recipe for this house seasoning, just go down to my description box and you'll find it. So let's just let that hang out. We don't need to cook it crispy. We just need to soften it. So we'll just let that do its thing. Oh, I left these out here to show you. This is the same old hash browns we always use. The Great Value shredded. No added oils. So let me go put these in the freezer. Listen, I've had them in and out with y'all so much that they had like frozen globs, and I had to beat them down with the rolling pin. So let me put these in the freezer. Did Walmart know when they substituted that gigantic bag of hash browns that I would be eating on it for a year? Now see, I'm starting to already get them brown. Let me turn that down. Now here's where you can add anything your little heart desires. Today, I'm going to do spinach and mushrooms. I'm not going to add any meat. That'll keep it thrifty. Add your meat. You can add sausage, bacon, Canadian bacon, any kind of vegetables you want to add. So just going to chop up some onions and some spinach, and I will be back. Okay, I am chopping up this spinach, and chances are, if I wasn't putting this down in a casserole like this, I would take that. I'll take that out anyway. That was kind of hard. David does not like the stems on spinach or on collard greens. So, just for him, I take the stems off. Listen, that makes me think, my mama and papa, bless her heart, she was such a good woman. Okay, let's spray our number 13. Actually, I think this is a 12 by something, but it is absolutely close enough. They like me, they like their fish. They would go, and I'm not, oh my God. Talking it just now made me think, if there was a fish camp that they wanted to go to on the weekends, now both of them worked in the mill, the 7 to 3 shift. They got home, Mama had supper ready. When they come in, she got it ready. And it didn't matter what she cooked. She could have that food on the table, lickety split. She was amazing. So they eat early. By 4 o'clock, they was eating their supper. Because there was meal hours, and they went to bed early because they had to be up, you know, on working at 7. So on the weekends, they like to go eat fish a lot of times. It didn't matter if that fish camp was 3 hours away. You piled in the car and you went. Now, I think I've told y'all about Mama's big old LTD, big old black LTD with the red velvet interior. I would be in that back seat. Sometimes my cousins would be with me. Thinking we was going to the moon. We would be in that car so long. And when I say the stereotypical, are we there yet? We pestered the tar out of them. Are we there yet? We would just finally just lay back in there and go to sleep because we did not know when we was going to get to the fish camp. And then, you know what? We had to eat, turn around and come on back home. But Papa loved his fish. What I was going to tell you, picking them stems out for David, Mama picked his bones out of his fish. Whatever kind of fish. Now, they would go fishing at the beach a lot. So, a lot of fish they would have in the freezer would have bones in it. Because they just didn't fillet it. Whatever she made him, till the day he died, the last time he ever had fish, she picked them bones out for him. So, I guess I get it honest. Now, this is our 1 pound of hash browns that I still don't think it's enough, but this is how he made it. For over a year, at least a year, so I'm making it. You know what? I just don't like that. I declare, I think I have written that down wrong because that is not right. Y'all see that? That is not right. I'm going to measure me out another pound of hash browns and cook it. Then we're going to assemble this. Okay, now I am coming back to y'all because I want y'all to tell me what in the world has happened. This is 15.9 ounces. If you recall a few shots before, y'all saw what I said was 16 ounces in a bag. In this, apparently it was only 8 ounces, but my thing said 16. So, the scales must be going on the fritz. They do give me a little error message every now and then, and sometimes they're bright, sometimes they're dim, which makes what I ordered on Black Friday worth it. I ordered me a new food scale. It was on sale for half price. So, whew, I'm talking to y'all forgetting I'm doing that. So my new food scale will be here actually either today or tomorrow. So I'm going to dump that back out and measure 8 ounces and then add that to what I got, and I'm pretty sure that's when I'm going to have a pound. Okie doke. Now, I have got that other 8 ounces of cheese. I'm telling you, it ain't no wonder I thought something was wrong with that recipe. I am glad I had the foresight to order that scale. Okay, now mash it down so it's really kind of like a crust. Let's kind of even it out. So I can see any empty spots. Try to smush them. Okay, now I've already got 6 eggs beaten in here. Let's give it just a little bit of half seasoning for good measure. Then half a cup of skim milk. You could use almond milk if you wanted to, but it didn't add any points. Now I will have to readjust my points now since I've added twice as much hash browns, but on the purple plan, really the only thing is the cheese, and on the blue and the green, you know, there's extra things, but I don't think that amount of these hash browns is going to really make that big of a difference. All you do is pour your eggs and milk over top. Couldn't be easier. Now the next thing is your toppings. Whatever toppings you want. And I did spinach and mushrooms, if you remember. Let me kind of get them blended up pretty good. Now let's see if we can evenly distribute. Listen, the sky is the limit on this. Then the only thing left to do is add the cheese. And what cheese do we use on Thrifty Thursday? Great Value Fiesta Blend reduced fat. I played with the recipe builder. 1 1/4 cups. Well, I can't tell you the points now because I added those hash browns. But when I upped it up to 1 3/4 cups, it only added 1 point per serving. So I opted to go for more cheese. But I do have the points written for both amounts of cheese. So you can decide for yourself. But I just thought more cheese sounded really good. Looks really good, doesn't it? I'm excited to meal prep my breakfast one day. Now we're just going to pop this in at 350 for, I don't even remember what he said, but you know I always check after a half hour. So I'll check it after a half hour. Okay, the casserole took 30 minutes. When I checked it at 30 minutes, it was perfectly done. Now it was puffed a little bit, but it cooled off and it, you know, sunk back down. So this is 6 servings. I never cut these very well, but you know what? Let me just say, I just don't know if I could get any more dumb, for lack of a better word. It did not take adding those extra hash browns did not take the recipe up, because I had the recipe built for 16 ounces. It just didn't weigh 16 ounces. So forget I even said something that dumb. So here's what our 1/6